I'm ready for my island vacation with Rachel McAdams. What? She's trying to kill me? While watching Send Help, I was thinking, Rachel McAdams is usually the best thing about any movie she's in. I mean, think about it. Game Night, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. She's always been a gifted actress and comedian, but here she really gets to shine, and that is thanks to Sam Raimi. Yes, the Spider-Man and Evil Dead director hasn't done a film since 2022's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but because that was part of the Marvel machine, that doesn't really count. And the movie before that, Oz the Great and Powerful, that kind of doesn't count either. You have to go all the way back to 2009's Drag Me to Hell to get pure, uncut Sam Raimi. I'm happy to report that Send Help is Raimi back in fine form, and this time he has a secret weapon in Rachel McAdams. McAdams plays Linda Little, the frumpy head of strategic and planning who is gunning for a VP slot at her company. Unfortunately, she loses it because her new younger boss, Bradley Preston, played by Dylan O'Brien, doesn't care about it being her turn. Linda is the brunt of the jokes in the office, but Bradley gives her an ultimatum. Join the boys on a company trip to Thailand, prove her worth, and she might be considered for that spot. That's all well and good until their plane crash lands in the ocean, and the only two survivors are Linda and Bradley. Linda, being a huge Survivor fan, is primed and ready to take action. So now the tables have turned. She's the one in control, she's the one in power, and Bradley must rely on her in order to survive. Now it's a battle of wits and wills between the former boss and the former employee, who both have to face the laws of the jungle in order to survive, or kill each other trying. If you've lamented the fact that Sam Raimi has been mired in IP the last few years and wished him to go back to his gory B-movie roots, well, this is the movie for you, because Send Help on its face seems a little like a broad gender politics comedy with a twist. And that would have been fine. Raimi can totally pull that off. But Send Help really gets going once we understand the stakes, and especially in the movie's funniest scene, where McAdams goes boar hunting, and that's when the splatter effects fly. Raimi announces that he has lost none of his freak flag. What makes Send Help a cut above most survival thrillers is that Linda and Bradley aren't entirely all good, and they're not entirely all bad. Raimi delights in extremes, going a little broad in the comedy, extreme in the grossness and the goriness, but what he's most underrated at is character. And Linda, though she seems like the insufferable office girl that no one wants to invite to happy hour, starts revealing new shades to her character. She's in the dominant position now. The rules no longer apply. McAdams is having a blast with this part. You can sense that she hasn't had as meaty a role like this in years. She gets to play all shades in her arsenal. The nerdy girl who's awkward, the badass woman who can take charge, and the desperate woman who might have a screw loose. The word that comes to mind with her performance is glee. She's just gleeful in what she gets to do here. And that bounces off perfectly with Dylan O'Brien as Bradley. Now, O'Brien has been an up-and-comer for like a decade now. He hasn't quite become the big movie star that maybe he should be, but he continually churns out excellent performances like last year's Twinless. In this, he is the douchiest boss of all time. Sexist, misogynist, petty, manipulative. But he's not just one note. He starts to warm up to Linda when he realizes he needs her in order to live. And the smartest play that Raimi makes is seeding doubt into our minds. Linda might not be 100% hero here, and Bradley might not be as bad as we think. And that allows McAdams and O'Brien to play off each other beautifully, and what is a dynamic that has a little more juice to it than we would normally expect. So as we're torn back and forth between these people who slowly reveal new shades of awful to their personalities, well, it just becomes a fun time. It's difficult for a director and for actors to pull off a two-hander because you're relying solely on their performances and you're relying on your directorial skill. And Raimi, whose career spans over 40 years, has such a bag of tricks that we're never bored once. There's always a new gross-out surprise, or squirm-inducing scene, or splattery delight. And in that way, this movie keeps surprising us with the twists and turns until its very satisfying ending. And all the while, I keep thinking back to McAdams, who's been underused in movies the past few years. Hell, she was really underused in those Doctor Strange movies. But you can tell Raimi saw something in her, because she has a screwball knack for comedy. She can play the victim or the victor. And here, she gets to show off and really is one of the best showcases for an actress over 40 I've seen in quite some time. Hollywood, do not keep sleeping on Rachel McAdams, and for that matter, do not keep sleeping on Sam Raimi, because together, they make one hell of a fun movie. Send Help is a total blast, a comic thriller with bite, anchored by two great performances from Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. Sam Raimi returns to his horror thriller roots and is back in fine form. I give Send Help a respectable 3.5 stars out of 5. If you like this review, please like and subscribe or follow me on Letterboxd at RamirezS316. Okay, hear me out. Stranded on a deserted island with Rachel McAdams. Not the worst thing ever. And you know, if she had to kill me, skewer me, and roast me, I probably deserved it.